Welcome to Becoming Heisenberg. It's Entertainment Talks podcast for Breaking Bad on AMC and Netflix. I'm your host Matthew. Joining me today, my co-host is David. How are you?
I'm very well, thanks.
Good. So yeah, we're doing something. I feel like I've said this a bunch of times. We're doing something we really haven't done before. We have done scheduled content before because that's how I do make the classic review seasons. But not only are we doing a rewatch podcast, which we've also never done before, we're covering Breaking Bad. Now, we've talked about Breaking Bad on different podcasts before, here and there, for various different reasons. We also do cover Better Call Saul, which is the Jimmy McGill, Saul Goodman prequel show to Breaking Bad. So yeah, I'm quite excited to go on this journey. We're gonna in 2020, of course, we're gonna cover the first 7 episodes of the first season, and then decide at some point later when we do season two. Because at the moment with you, David, I've got Walking Dead, now Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul, Westworld, Game of Thrones, whenever that comes back. Probably not anytime
Yes.
soon for the
No.
prequels. And maybe like one or two other shows. We did cover 24. That's obviously not anywhere close to coming back at all
Yes.
at the moment. But yeah, so let's explain a couple of reasons as to why we're doing this. First of all, Breaking Bad's, well, there's multiple reasons, so I'll go through those. First of all, Breaking Bad's, one of the most popular shows on TV, so that's one reason. Second reason is to me at least, in my own opinion, it's the best TV show I've seen, so that's a very good reason to go back and cover it. One of the main big reasons though is we do, like I said, we do a podcast for Better Call Saul. We did a season 3 review, and then for weekly we did seasons 4 and then 5, which aired earlier this year. And the original plan, which has now changed a little bit, was because we know that the next season, the sixth season, whether it's split up into two halves or whatever, we don't know as of right now. What we're gonna do is, because we assumed that would have gone somewhat into the start of Breaking Bad, because it's a prequel obviously, and it would maybe push itself into Breaking Bad in some way, shape or form. And then I thought, okay, once we've finished Better Call Saul, we can go into Breaking Bad and then kind of have it as this chronological sort of thing. Now, because this virus and stuff has kind of messed up filming of certain things, I looked at, and sort of the end of the year, August, October-ish, August, September, October, and I thought, okay, Walking Dead won't be back by that point, and there's going to be just a little gap to where we can maybe put something else. We know Mandalorian's maybe going to come back in October. We don't know that for definite, but that's a possibility. We'll see what we can do with that. But I kind of thought, basically, it's a way of us shifting shows around. So instead of us doing Walking Dead in October, which we won't be doing, because even if the show returns to filming at that point, there's no way the episodes will be ready by that
No.
point. And plus, we've also got to get the last episode of the previous season yet. So we got that to wait for. And I kind of thought, instead of doing Breaking Bad when Better Call Saul ends, we can simply switch it around a bit, so that instead of doing Walking Dead season 11 in October, or end of this year, we can just put the first 7 episodes of Breaking Bad in, and that's what we're here to do basically.
Yes.
So how do you feel about doing this show?
Well, it's one of these things that I very rarely go back and
Yeah,
re-watch stuff. There are very few shows that I will go back and watch kind of multiple times, because there's so much new stuff that I have to watch because of work,
yeah,
because of running Geektown. Um, I just don't get the time that often. So it's not that often I will go back and watch something again from the start, even though I might have enjoyed it. I've been through, like, there are certain things which I will put on in the background to watch, like Firefly or Buffy episodes, or stuff like that. So yeah, this was kind of interesting, going back and sitting back and watching this right from the beginning again, because it's not. You sort of forget quite how good this show is. And so it's nice to be able to go back and just sit through watching it again, and seeing it, knowing as well all the stuff that you know about what happens, and also what happens in Better Call Saul. It's interesting going back and watching it through those eyes for a second time.
hmm yeah. Yeah, and this isn't a case of like we've run out of content and we're filling a gap. We're basically shifting shows around because we will get that 11th season of Walking Dead eventually.
Yeah,
It's just we're gonna shift things around. There's still loads of stuff we've been podcasting on, so yeah,
absolutely.
it's not a case of that at all. There's still loads of television out there, so it's not like a hey, we have a crisis, let's cover a really great show. There's other reasons that I've just pointed out as well. So speaking of the schedule, I just want to explain that as well. It is the 15th of July today. And this is a decision that I've kind of made on my own, and David, I guess, has agreed to it and whatnot. Currently, I'm running the 4th season of Classic Reviews, which is the Jim Carrey season. As of today, the 6th episode of that has been released, and the whole season will be out by the time you hear this. So what I'm going to do, once that season, I don't know the exact date, but I'll look it up once I go to schedule this podcast. So basically, the week after that season finishes, which will only be in about 5 or 6 weeks, that's when these podcasts will start coming out, and then you'll obviously know that because that will be the situation by the time you listen to this episode. So yeah, it's essentially a way of kind of scheduling those sorts of things. Because me and you, we've never done like a scheduled podcast like this before. Usually if we cover a show like this, because it will be the new episodes weekly for whatever show, we would release it at that point. But you know, it's just a way of sort of doing that as well. So I thought that might work out pretty well. So it will be some point in August, I do know that, and you'll obviously know what date it is by the time that comes around. We're going to be, well, at least for me, I'm watching the episodes on Monday, then making notes and getting, you know, the picture and the draft set up and all that for Tuesday, and then on Wednesday we're going to, well, as we are today, we're going to record the episodes, edit them, schedule them. Those are still going to come out on Wednesdays. It's literally going to be the Wednesday after the Classic Review season finishes for the Jim Carrey season, so it's going to just run on like that, basically. In fact, by the time we finish recording the season, that might be when the episodes start coming out, roughly, sort of.
Right.
So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, we have actually watched the first episode. We're going to, in a minute, once we finish this announcement podcast, we're going to record our podcast for the first episode, and yeah, that will be an interesting experience. So we'll see how it all goes. There will be a separate iTunes feed for this. I'm probably going to put like the announcement episode in, like, I don't know, the Better Call Saul feed. I think that would be a good idea as well, seeing as it's connected to the same show and certain things like that. So yeah, the podcast is going to be called Becoming Heisenberg. I kind of just thought, you know, we've got Becoming Saul, Jimmy McGill becomes Saul Goodman, and then I thought Walter White becomes Heisenberg. So it kind of works out the same way, becoming Saul, becoming Heisenberg. It makes sense to me. So plus I couldn't think of any other names. So, but yeah, that's pretty much going to be it. Please tell people that you know about the website and that, and about the Breaking Bad podcast and the Better Call Saul podcast and all the others. The iTunes feed should be set up by the time this episode comes out as well. So that should be all good as well. I don't think there's anything else to really add. We're going to record the first episode in a bit, and then obviously that will come out the next week after this comes out, because this is going to be a way of like, okay, I've got a week to let people know about the Breaking Bad podcast, and then the first episode for the pilot will come out the week after. So look forward to that next week. We're going to do that in a minute, and I think that's pretty much everything. Have you got anything else, David?
No, I think we pretty much covered it.
Cool. So you'll be able to find that all, of course, on entertainmenttalk.org, just as well if you want news about any of the Breaking Bad universe, so the dates for stuff for Better Call Saul, or TV and film news. David does, of course, like he said, run Geektown, geektown.co.uk, Geektown Radio on Tuesdays. You can find that on iTunes as well, Geektown. Just search for that and search for Entertainment Talk, and subscribe to all that good stuff. Thanks for listening, and I guess we'll see you next week for the pilot. Goodbye.
Bye.